Well, Michael Kennedy is a really good writer, obviously, and I will say I never have liked wordplay. So I was like, "It's a Wonderful Knife, guys." And then when I read it, I was like, "Oh, it has to be called that." And it wasn't just trying to be clever, and it's the perfect name for it. And I just really thought it, did use the kind of the mechanism of It's a Wonderful Life really well, and that hasn't been done that much. And I'm not sure why, because it's such a good, wonderful sci-fi trick. And so I was, happy to get up there and shoot it. And I knew that I talked to Tyler McIntyre a little bit about it, but he's right before, but he's a great, he was a very good captain of the ship director, and it was a very fast-paced, tight schedule and tight budget. But yeah, and then you get Jane Widdop, who's just a delight and a really good actor and a star and all that. And yeah, and then Justin Long shows up, who's amazing, truly amazing. Yeah, I mean, I like horror films as long as they're good. The same way that, like, do you like science fiction? Love it. If it's a good movie, I love it. Because there's a lot of crappy in all the genres and a lot of really good in all of them. So, like, I did a horror movie called Deliver Us from Evil, which was as fun as I've ever had on a movie ever, and with the great Eric Bana. Yeah, I love the genre, and but I'm not like I have to watch all the horror films. I'm like, I'll watch the ones that, like, I saw Hereditary and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. So one of the best horror movies ever made, probably, in my book. So we're reading this, and I think the horror comedy holiday genre and horror comedy genre, which was, I think Sam Raimi really, I don't know if he made the genre, but he really perfected it, and with the Evil Dead movies. And so getting to do a comedy that's also a horror and holiday is like, I see horror films as like roller coasters where you're screaming and yelling and you're having a great time, and then all of a sudden your body says, you're gonna die, and because the big hill comes, and that's what I find thrilling about them. I agree. It looked like, I think the lack of a face was what was so disturbing. And yeah, no, I thought it was like, when I first saw the costume, I was like, oh, this is terrifying. And again, this movie it's like a small, tiny little movie, and they really made it feel like a big budget movie. And again, the schedule was really tight, and but they made it like, then that's because of like Tyler McIntyre, the director. He really filled up he really, I mean, took that script and just rock and rolled it. And so seeing that costume, I was like, because that is, it hinges on, like, who's killing who, and or how is this happening. And I think it provides the proper amount of terror that it should. No, the scene that they've been pushing around with me in it is Jane and I having the talk about losing a child, or not having a child. And that scene was really intense and wonderful. And Jane is just such a movie star. And so I had to, knowing with these movies, it's this balance of comedy and terror and sadness, and it's everything. So that scene was really fun to do and a great challenge, and Jane's, again, really easy to act off of. So I love doing it. That was really fun. Well, people would be very less annoyed if I wasn't there. My family would be less annoyed, I think, because I don't ever stop talking, and my ADHD brain is very scattered all the time, totally unorganized. So maybe the world would be a little more organized without me.
Ah, wow. I think it might be less funnier. Maybe.
Well, yes, I would. Yes, a lot of off-color jokes, I would say, yes, would not be told. Oh, I wasn't good at anything else. It was either that or trying to be a professional athlete, which I was definitely not. I learned in college I was not definitely going to be a professional athlete. So that was I was good at sports and I loved acting and I loved comedy, and I just thought I was so bad at school, and I thought if I can just do this until the real job police come and take me away, then I think I'll be okay. And I just kept doing it, and I wasn't gonna take no for an answer. And so I came here with my wife 23 years ago, which we still kind of look at each other and can't believe it, and I said, just give me 5 years to try to get things going and see if anything happens. And thankfully, the soup happened, and 4 years later. So yeah, I just love doing it. I still to this day can't believe people pay me for it. Maybe it's we do Miracle on 34th Street. We somehow translate to some other universe where we take another, iconic holiday film and spin it on its head a bit. So yeah, Miracle on 34th Street. We'll do that one. Boy, I hope they think it's a good movie. I hope they got scared, and I hope they, were slightly terrified and laughed a bunch, and they get to see, Jane and see that she's a movie star, and of course, again, Justin Long and those teeth. I could not keep a straight face during our scenes. I really couldn't, and that does not happen to me very much. So, he's a legend. So, I hope I mean, it sounds so cliche, but, so I hope they're well entertained and they still will allow me to do acting after this.